Good afternoon everyone and welcome to another Wednesday Westside Wellbeing with myself, Jamie. I hope you're having a fantastic day, enjoying a little bit of sunshine. So today we are going to do a Tabata session. So ultimately what that means is we're going to work to 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off. We're going to do 3 sets of each exercise and then we're just going to keep moving through those exercises. After probably 3 exercises, so once we've done 9 sets, we'll probably take a little bit extra break, just take a little bit of moment, closer towards a minute, just to reset, get ready to go again. And we're going to go for 45 minutes. So, before we get started, or as we start, we're just going to go into a little bit of a warm-up first, just to loosen up those joints, stretch out those muscles, get all those ligaments and tendons firing. So, first things first, I just want to stand just outside shoulder width apart, and I just want you to slowly rotate through the hips, nice and steady, nice and controlled, and just as you start to work into those repetitions, feel free just to take those circles a little bit wider, a little bit bigger, to get a bit more rotation, so we're really starting to activate through the hips, and again, stretching and working through the lower back into the hip flexors, into the gluteus minimus, into those groins, and we're going to take it back the other way. Start to roll through those hips. And again, as you start to work through that movement, see if you can just take it a little bit further, really open up through that natural bout that we all possess. Lovely stuff. So from there, we're going to go into the hamstring. So I want you to bring your feet shoulder width apart and you're just going to hinge forward at the hips. So I want you to take your palms and just slowly start to slide those down the front of your legs. Just allowing yourself to stretch into those hamstrings and try and keep that back nice and flat, nice and flush. All that movement and hinging has come through the hips. So we're stretching into those hamstrings. And we're going to hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I want you to slowly bring yourself back up, and we're going to stretch into the front of the thighs, into the quads. So from here, feel free to move a little bit closer to a wall. Take hold of a chair or an object, maybe a person if you're doing this workout together, or feel free just to test that balance as well. Take the hand on the hip and just lift that heel in towards that glute, so we're just stretching through that quad muscle into the top of that hip flexor as well, and then just squeeze that heel back in towards that glute for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to release that and we're going to go on to the other side. So we're going to lift the foot up in towards that glute and just try and squeeze that heel as close as you can to that glute muscle. Take a nice big inhale, and as you exhale, I just want you to squeeze that heel in towards that glute a little bit more. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So from here, we're just going to get some movement into the upper body. So we're just going to get some nice arm circles, keep it nice and wide, just so we can work through those shoulder joints, start to mobilise through the shoulders as well. And from there, we're going to take it the other way. You'll probably find you'll have a little bit more mobility going one way or the other. Mine is definitely forwards, step back. And from there, we're just going to swing the arms across the body, just interchange and take one hand a little bit higher, a little bit lower, and then just start to work those arms so they're down by the body, running across the front of the torso. Yes, nice. From there, we're going to stretch into the tricep. So I'm going to turn around for this one. So I'm going to take your hand up above your head, bring the palm of your hand as central to that back as you can, and just take the other hand and start to squeeze behind the elbow. Stretching out through that hamstring, really try and straighten out through the back. Lift the head up so the arm isn't pushing the head forwards. If anything, the head is pushing the arm back. We're going to release in 3, 2, and 1. We're going to change it over to the other side. Again, take that other palm as centrally as you can through that back. Straighten up through the spine, lift that head, and just squeeze through the back of the elbow. We're going to hold for 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff, and release. So from there, I'm going to take a little bit of water on board. Quite warm out there today. So if you guys have got a fan or open a window or have some form of making sure that you can cool yourself down, you haven't got to worry too much about the noise. So from here we're going to get started. We're going to go into our first exercise and we're going to start with some body squats. So we're going to have the feet just outside shoulder width apart, and I just want you to take it as deep as you can into that squat. We're going to go for 3 sets of these. We're going to do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. I'm going to start the timer. And in 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to bring the hands in front of me. And I'm just going to start to work into that squat position. Again, it might feel a little bit unusual if you've got those feet just at shoulder width apart, because it ultimately is quite a narrow stance. So we're putting a lot more emphasis here through the outside of the quads. You're really working through those hip flexors. Good. 1 to 2 more repetitions. 3, 2, and 1. And rest, take a moment. So we've got 30 seconds. So from here, just make sure that we're keeping moving a little bit. Just start to shake the limbs a little bit. Just allow those muscles to start to freely move. Maybe give the quads a little shake into the hamstrings. Shake the wrists about a bit. Again, we're going to be using the full body today, so it's nice just to use these rest periods sometimes to just make sure that we're warming up nicely. So we're going to go into set 2, feet shoulder width apart. We're just going to go into that squat position. Again, just find a rhythm, find a tempo that works for you. Again, if you want to take it a little bit faster, by all means feel free to do so. If you need to slow it down, feel free to do the same. Again, this is your workout. You're here for you. We know we're going to be working for 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So don't worry about counting the reps. Just allow that heart rate to start to increase. 2 and 1. And take a moment, take a 30-second rest. And enjoy the next, and we've got probably 40 minutes of working out with your body, showing yourself what your body is capable of. So we've got just over 10 seconds. And again, I want you to do, just start setting yourself, think about setting those feet shoulder width apart. Again, put the emphasis through the outside of the quads here with this stance. Bring the hands in front of us. And let's go into our third set. Again, just start to find that range. Nice and steady, nice and controlled. And again, like I said, we've got quite a narrow stance here, so don't worry if you don't feel you can take those squats as low as you could with a wider stance, because we've got a lot more movement to go through. Good, last few repetitions. And in 3, 2, and 1. And rest, excellent, lovely stuff. So from there, the next exercise we are going to move into, and take a little bit of water on board. So we're going to go into some sided squats. So what I want you to do is feet are going to come together. You're going to step to one side and squat it out. Take it out to the other side and squat, and then bring it centrally again. So I'll set the buzzer, 5 seconds. And in 3, 2, and 1, feet together, take it to one side, squat it down, bring it back into the centre, and take it down again. Again, now what you'll find is because we've gone for that wider stance with that squat, you can probably sink those hips that little bit lower down through that central line of the body. Good, moving towards 10 seconds, a few more repetitions. 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Good work, everyone. Oh, it's a warm one today. So again, make sure you've all got some water. If you haven't, feel free to pop off and grab some water. I'd highly advise you to keep that close by today. So I just want you to start focusing in on that breath, moving towards 10 seconds. But again, just really starting to allow yourself to control that heart rate. And we'll go in 3, 2, and 1. We're down again. Bring the feet nice and central, nice and close together. Take it out to one side. Get that squat. Spring back into the center. So here we're working through the quads into the glutes, into the hip flexors because we've got that wider stance. And then into those hamstrings just as we start to come up out the base of that squat movement. One last repetition on the other side. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Take a moment. Ooh, it's a warm one today. It's taking my breath away. So again, focus back in on that breath. We're going to spend these rest periods really trying to dial into that breathing. Nice big inhales. Nice big long exhales. And in 3, 2, and 1. We're into our third set of those side-to-side squats. Again, you probably start to feel now that those legs are starting to feel a little bit looser. Again, starting to put some stress and tension through those muscles. Heart rate will be increasing slightly. Again, just making sure we're really moving through all the joints, as well as utilising the muscles. Last repetition for 3, 2, and 1. And rest, take a moment. So from there, we're going to take it into the upper body. So to start with, we're just going to go into a curl and press. So ultimately what we want to do is take the fists by the side, keep them nice and clenched. You're going to curl up in the bicep curl so the palms come in, and then push up and rotate through the shoulders so the palms are then facing out. So all I want to do is think like curl, palms in, press, and palms out. We're going to go for 3 sets, almost down to the time. 5 seconds, and 3, 2, and 1. So we're curling through the biceps and driving up through those shoulders. Getting that full rotation. Good, so really working in to those biceps. Again, by clenching those fists together, really engaging through the wrist joints, through the elbow joints, and then getting that nice rotation through the shoulders. So we're working through the front delts, into the side delts, into the traps. Last repetition, and take a moment. So again, just start to focus in on that breath. Everything's starting to come a little bit looser. All the joints are starting to be activated. I definitely found from my first set of the curl and press, just getting a few pops and cracks in those joints, just allowing everything to loosen up. Starting to feel that tension release. We've got 5 seconds, so we'll set ourselves. And in 2, and 1, we curl and press, drive it straight up over the head. Nice, find a rhythm, find a tempo that works for you. Good, and the more rotation you can get through those shoulders, the more tension we can release, the more mobility that we're working with through that shoulder joint. Again, really just trying to allow you to free everything up through the joints, into the ligaments and tendons, and falling through into those muscles. Good, good work everyone. Take a moment, focus back in on that breath. Nice big inhale through the nose. Nice big exhale through the mouth. Moving towards 10 seconds. Wow, less than now. So we'll start to set ourselves. We're going to go into that third set of the curl and press. So clench those fists nice and tight, curl it up, drive it up overhead. Good, really good control, everyone, nice. And again, it's got a warm one today, so we're going to use that to our advantage. Still going to get that a little bit hotter, probably a little bit sweatier, probably burn a few extra calories in the process. Let's keep there, a few more repetitions, less than 10 seconds to go. And in 3, 2, and 1, and rest. Excellent work. Nice, good work. Everyone take a moment. Feel free to take a little bit of water on board if you wish to. And from there, we're going to keep it on the upper body, but this time we're going to take it down to the ground. So from here we're going to go into a classic push-up. So a few options for you here. Again, we're going to take our hands just outside shoulder width apart. If you feel comfortable and confident to, and you want to try that classic plank push-up, feel free to do so. If you need to bring it down to the knees and lift the toes, again, when you're in this position, make sure that the hips aren't pitched back. Sink those hips forward so there's a nice straight line between the knees up to the shoulders. That allows you to get that full range of movement still through the chest, not putting any pressure on the lower back or into the shoulder joints. So, we're going to set ourselves. I'm going to put the timer on, 3 sets. And in 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to remove my hat for this one, just make sure you get nice and low. Again, feel free to mix it up between the styles. If you want to try that plank push-up, give it a go. If you can get through a few repetitions and then the buzzer hasn't gone, feel free to bring it to those knees and just continue that momentum. Really working through the chest. Good, last repetition for 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Lovely stuff. After set of push-ups, it's nice just to kind of go back into that child's pose. Just open up through that back. So, we're going to stay down here. We're just going to take a moment. Again, focus back in on that breath. Moving towards 10 seconds. Yeah, we're going to start to set ourselves. We're going to take the hands just outside shoulder width apart. We're going to choose our starting position. And from there, let's go for it again. Really working across the centre of the chest. Into the outside of the chest, working through those triceps as well. Also, you'll be utilising your biceps on the negative of the push-up. Into those shoulders, into the scapula, rhomboids, into those traps. Good, let's keep that there. A few more repetitions. 3, 2, and 1. Rest, good work everyone. Feel free to come up, take a little moment. We're going to move into our third set. We've got just over 15 seconds. There's no rush. Start to focus back in on that breath again. Slowly start to think about making your way back into that starting position because we're going to go in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Good. Find a rhythm, find a tempo that works for you. If you're starting to burn out a little bit as you come up, feel free to just pause for a moment in that start position and then slowly start to work your way back down. Good, last few repetitions. And we go for 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Good work everybody, nice. Take a little bit of water on board if you wish to. So from here we're going to take it into the core. So what I'm going to do is we're going to lie down onto our backs and we're going to go into some oblique side sliders. So what you need to do here is bring the knees up nice and high, heels towards the glutes, and from there you're going to lift the head and just slide from side to side, taking those palms down towards those heels. 3 sets, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So really just trying to work through those oblique muscles, underneath the pectoral muscles, into the top and the rib cage. Just imagine you're sliding that rib cage down side to side, keeping the arms nice and close to the torso. 3, 2, and 1. And rest, take a moment. So here, focus back in on that breath again. I've been repeating it a lot, but I'm going to repeat it quite a lot today. Really important. Just to allow you to take back control of that heart rate, which gives you that opportunity to be able to continue that workout a little bit longer, work a little bit harder, We're going to set ourselves for the second set, and 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So we just slide it from side to side. Again, very small movements coming through here, through the base of the rib cage. Just squeezing the base of that rib cage down towards the hip bone. And that way really keeping the emphasis through the oblique muscles. Yeah, last few repetitions on each side. And in 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Lovely stuff. I'm going to take a little bit of water on board. Really strong work, everyone. Let's keep that going. Over halfway. So, we've got 10 seconds. We're going to set ourselves into that position. We're going to lift the chin into the chest, and in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go into our third set of those oblique slides. Nice and steady, nice and controlled. The more control you have over those core movements, the more development you'll get through that area. Yeah, moving towards 10 seconds. Good, let's keep that there. And in 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Good, take a moment. Strong work, everyone. So we're going to keep it down on the ground because we're going to stay in the core. We're going to do another core exercise. So the next one we're going to go into, what I want you to, as we do, is lie down nice and flat. Take the arms out to the side so you create kind of a 45-degree angle from the torso to the fingertips. And all I want you to do is pull one knee in, take it out, pull the other knee in, and take it back out. And keep that movement going. 5 seconds, and in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So just pulling that one knee in, taking it back out. By all means, if you need to rest the heels on the ground as you move from side to side, feel free to do so. If you want to lift those heels slightly just off that ground, so you get that little bit more tension through the core, again, feel free to do so. If you need to alternate between having the heels resting on the floor or just slightly hovering off the floor. Good. 2, and rest. Good. So from here, we're just going to keep it nice and low. We're going to stay on the ground. And again, focus back in on that breath. Good. And moving towards 10 seconds. So just start to prepare yourself to go back into the second set of that single knee drive. And let's go. So again, this is really working into the base of the core, so into those transverse abdominals. Again, utilising the hip flexors at the same time. So we're really trying to cover the core throughout today's session. We've hit the obliques running down the side of the torso, supporting the rib cage, and now shifting it down to the transverse abdominals in the base of that core, below the belly button. We're going to go for 3, 2, and 1, and rest. Woo, good work, everyone. Nice. 2 sets down. We've got one more set of this movement to go before we move back into the legs. So again, focus back in on that breath. 10 seconds. So we're going to slowly start to set ourselves for the third and final set. Think about that movement pattern we're going to go through in 2, and 1. And again, if you're really starting to feel this into the base of your core, after those first 2 sets, feel free to just bring the head to the ground if you need to, just to allow that stomach wall to expand slightly and relax. Just keep that movement going. Again, we're just starting to create some of the fatigue into that area. The last few seconds, and in 3, 2, and 1, and rest. Good work, everyone. 3 sets down. So from there, like I mentioned, we're going to take it back to the legs. Put that down. Let me just check where we are. Lovely stuff, everyone. Good. Let's keep it going. So the next exercise we're going to go into a sumo deadlift squat. So I want you to take the stance out nice and wide. You're going to point the feet out at 45-degree angles. You're going to take your hands in front of you and clench your fists, and from there you're just going to start to work your way down to the ground. All that movement is coming through my hips, down into my knees. My torso is staying nice and upright, nice and level. Let's set the timer. And in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So we're going to bring those hands together. Imagine like you're holding a big old heavy kettlebell. And here just working through that movement. Really getting into the adductors more here that run down the inside of the thighs. It really helps support the hamstrings and into the quad. Working into those hamstrings at the same time. And as we come up, squeeze through, just contracting through the quad muscles. Working into the glutes. Last repetition. And rest. Feel free to bring those feet back together, just while we take a moment. Catch your breath again. Whew. All right, sweat on today. Releasing some of that stress, that tension. If you're joining us here today for this lunchtime workout, or again, if you're using it at the end of the day, first thing in the morning, middle of the night, I don't know. Wherever it is, we're getting some stress relief, building a bit of sweat on, utilising that body. Good, nice, keep that there, keep those fists nice and clenched. Nice wide stance. Good, try and keep that back nice and straight. Squeeze those hips forward as you come up to the top of that movement. Really engage the glutes. Last repetition. And rest. Good, take a moment everybody. 30 seconds. We move into our third and final set of the sumo squat / deadlift. Focus in on that breath. Just over 10 seconds to go. So what I'm going to do is slowly start walking my feet out. Get myself into that position. And in 3, 2, and 1. Bring those fists nice and close together. And just work your way down. Trying to take it as low as you can. Again, just imagine like you're holding a big old kettlebell. Really working into those adductors, the hips, into the glutes, through the base of that core as well. Keeping the emphasis on there after that last movement we went through. Last few repetitions. And in 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Good. Bring it back in. Strong work, everyone. Nice. So we're going to move on to another leg exercise here. So we're going to keep the emphasis on the hamstrings, and we're basically going to go into a straight-legged RDL or deadlift, so Romanian deadlift or deadlift. So what we need to do is clench the fists. All that movement is going to come through the hips. So what I need to do is think about just taking those hips straight back in a horizontal line. Keep the legs nice and straight, and just slide those fists down towards the knees. As soon as you feel like you start to break that curve, so if I start to break that now, again, I don't want you to come that far, keep the back as straight as you can, and then start to work your way back up and drive through those hips, engaging into those glutes. And in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go again. So keeping that back nice and straight. Again, feel free to clench the fists here. Imagine you were holding a bar, and as you work your way up, just squeeze into those glutes at the top end, just releasing some of the tension off the hamstrings, working into that glute strength, which is part of the core, part of that natural back that we all possess. And rest. Good. And so again, really stretching through the hamstrings, but also because we're using the torso as the weight, still putting a lot of strength through them. So really helping with that strength, flexibility, and then mobility when we start to transition the hamstrings into more dynamic movements. So, just over 10 seconds before we move into our second set. Also kind of helps the heart rate drop that down again because it's a very slow, controlled movement. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So just hinging through those hips. Just taking those hips back in a straight line. And as soon as you start to feel that back is going to bend, just start to come back up. Squeeze through those glutes. Really engage those glutes at the top end. Again, really helps take the tension, pull the tension through the hamstrings up into the glutes, and just means that we're working into that glute power and strength, which allows us to stop getting any lower back pain. 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Good work, everyone. So, 30 seconds. Then we're going to move into our third set of the straight leg RDLs, and then we're going to take it back into the upper body again. Again, moving towards 10 seconds, just focusing on that breath. Good, 5 seconds, we'll set ourselves. Last set of the straight leg RDLs. And here we go, clench those fists, or feel free to just slide those palms down the thighs, past the knees if you can. And again, making sure when you go down, keeping that back nice and straight. And then engaging those glutes right at the top end. Good, moving towards 10 seconds. Let's keep it there. And then in 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Good work, everybody. Take a little moment. So from here, like I said, we're going to transition back into the upper body. So what we're going to go into first, what I want us to try is we're going to bring it down onto the ground. We're going to go into that plank position on our forearms. But what I want you to do from here is slowly walk your way up onto your hands and bring it back down to the elbows. If that's a little bit too much, or feels a little bit too much stress and tension for the joints, what you do is bring it to the knees. Again, don't go back in a straight line, but try and create like a tabletop with your back. So your knees are slightly back, and that will allow you just to start to work up and down through those arms. You're going to feel this one. We've got 3 sets of 30 seconds. Again, if you need to take a little extra moment and pause, feel free to do so. This is your workout. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So again, with this, just find a rhythm, find a tempo. Take it nice and slow. There's no rush with this because you're going to do quite a lot of movement, quite a lot of repetitions. Go, moving towards the last 10 seconds. And in 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Good work, everyone. So you'll probably find you felt that through the arms, but really working into the core as well. Whew. It's a good one. Feel free to take a little bit of water on board. Moving towards 10 seconds. So just going to slowly start taking ourselves into position. From here, this time I'm going to take it from the knees. So I'm just going to pitch those knees a little bit further back. And creating a nice kind of tabletop as I come down onto the elbows. And again, I've sped this one up a little bit, but you don't have to take it this quick. Just slow it right down. There's no rush. Go, last few repetitions. We're probably going to come up and go back down. Back up. 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Whew, good work, everyone. Feel free from there if you need to get up and just move around a little bit. You're going to give yourself a little lift off. Really putting some work in here. Good. Moving towards 10 seconds. So we're going to go into our third set. So again, for myself, I'm going to bring it down to the knees. Got plenty more to work to do. Again, just takes a bit of pressure off the elbow and the shoulder joint. And I'm definitely still getting a workout from it. Yeah, nice. Let's keep that going. And again, if you are down to the knees, Make sure you're bringing those hands as you pitch them down underneath the shoulders, so you're not too extended, putting too much tension through the shoulder. An elbow joint, we'll go down. 3, 2, and 1, and rest. Whew. Good work, everybody. Lovely stuff. So I'm going to take a bit of water on board myself. From there, we're going to move into another upper body exercise. From here, we're going to go into the push-ups again. We're going to do 2 rounds of push-ups, but this time we're going to keep the grip nice and narrow, kind of shoulder width apart. What that allows us to do, let me get this out of the way, shoulder width apart. From there, what I want you to do is then make sure that your chin is kind of running in line with the front of your fingertips, what it feels like. So that allows us to drop back into the triceps, keeping those elbows nice and tucked into that torso, and then squeezing back up through the triceps. Again, utilising the chest, but we're shifting the primary focus here into those triceps. 5 seconds. And again, as before, if we bring it to the knees, no problem at all. Just make sure those knees are nice and far back. So you create that nice straight line between the knees all the way up to the shoulders. And then again, just working through that movement, making sure those hips are pitched forwards. So no glutes are up like this, and we're trying to press from there. Pitch them forward. Squeeze through those triceps. Trying to keep those elbows nice and close to the torso. Go down in 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Good work, everyone. First set out of the way. Whew. Again, focus back in on that breath. Take control of that heart rate. Last push. We've got probably about 5 to 6 minutes left. A few more exercises. We're moving towards 10 seconds. So from there, what you do, let's take it back into position. Again, either bring it to the knees, pitch the hips forward, but again, if you want to bring it into that full plank press up position, feel free to do so and give it a go. And again, if you need to alternate between this stance, ultimately taking it down to the knee stance, feel free to do so. Just make sure those hips are pitched forward, and whether you're in this position or on the knees, that your chin feels or looks like it's running parallel to the front of those fingertips. Ooh, so it really allows you to squeeze those elbows back into that torso, working through that tricep muscle. Really strong work, everyone. Whew. Alright, sweat on. I'm enjoying this one. A good workout. We're really working our way through it. Everything's nice, steady, nice and controlled. Let's keep it that way. Almost there. Last few minutes. We're going to go into a third and final set of those push-ups. So here I'm just going to take it into the knees. It just means I can work my way all the way through that third set. Yeah, again, try and take that nose close down to the ground as you can. And making sure we're getting a lot of range of movement through the elbows. The last few repetitions. And in 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Fantastic work, everyone. So, you might guess we're going to take it back into the core. So we're just going to take a little moment. Give yourself a little waft if you need to. Just allow yourself to air out a little bit before we move into the core. This is going to be our last 3 sets, and from there we'll probably just have a little bit of movement, a little bit of a cool down, stretch some things off. Got very focused and targeted today. Really strong effort, everyone. Nice. So, last 2 exercises working on the core. So we've got 6 sets to go. And the first one we're going to go for this time, what we're going to do is we're going to lie ourselves down. I'm going to do a double knee tuck. So we're going to pull the knees in and then take them straight back out again. Same as before, if you need to rest the heels on the floor and then bring the knees in and take them back out and rest, feel free to do so. If you can keep those heels slightly off the ground, Therefore, if you're going to try and keep the heels slightly off the ground, my advice would be lift the chin into the chest, just so you're contracting through those abdominal muscles, again contracting through that stomach wall, because when you lift your heels off the ground and try and put your head onto the floor, you're trying to stretch a little bit too much through that stomach wall. And rest. Good work, everyone. While we're down here, we'll focus back in on that breath. Nice big inhale, nice big exhale. Ooh. We'll keep that there for a moment, just under 10 seconds, so we'll slowly start to set ourselves, and we'll bring the palms to the floor, creating that 45-degree angle between the torso and the hands. I'm going to pull both knees in, and again, even if you do have to rest the heels on the ground between each repetition, if you can, make sure you're trying to lift that chin into the chest on this movement as well. That will just give you a little bit more contraction through the midriff. Yeah, moving towards 10 seconds, last few repetitions. And in 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Whew, again, really working into the base of that core, into the transverse abdominals, and it really sits in that natural belt within that hip line. Again, really trying to build through the glutes, the glute maximus that we're all aware of, but the glute minimus that runs down the base, or across the base of the spine into that lower back. Really important muscle group to be engaging, as well as through the hip flexors. Into the base of the core. And let's go, we're into our third set. Again, just find your rhythm, find the tempo that works for you. Moving towards 15 seconds. Last few repetitions, let's keep it there. Woo, feeling that burn. We're on for 5, and in 3, 2, and 1, and rest. Good work, everyone. Nice. So we've got 3 more sets to go. We're going to keep it on the core. And this time what I want you to do is we're going to bring the heels up towards the glutes. You're going to take the arms straight back behind you. And from now, you just bring the hands forward so they meet thighs, so your quads. Lift the chin and then just slide those hands up towards the top of the knees. So we're really contracting through those 4 upper abdominal muscles. Last push, 1.5 minutes of work. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So again, take those hands all the way back behind you. Allow that head to rest on the floor for a moment. Keep those arms nice and straight. Swing those hands towards the top of the thighs. And then slide those palms up towards the top of the knees. As you lift your head at the same time, just to get that full contraction through the 4 top abdominal muscles. And rest. Good work, everyone. Nice. 2 sets left. We've got 1 minute of work. And take a nice big inhale. Nice big exhale. Good. Moving towards 15 seconds. So we've got plenty of time. Again, when you've worked the core, really good to try and take back control of that heart rate and that breathing, because there's a lot of contraction going on through the midriff, which ultimately impacts the capacity of the lungs. And we're into our second set. Nice, find that rhythm, find that tempo. Again, just lifting through the top of the back, not trying to lift the torso off the ground. Again, really keeping the focus on the muscle groups and the muscles within that muscle group where we want to be working, instead of trying to lift our whole torso. And rest. Good work. We've got 30 seconds, and then we've got 1 more set to go. I'm going to take a little bit of water on board. And we'll let ourselves back down. 15 seconds, so nice big inhale, nice big exhale. Repeat that breath again. We'll set ourselves, take the hands behind the head, and in 3, 2, and one. Let's go into our third and final set of this movement and our final set of today's workout. We've covered the full body. We got very focused and targeted. Let's keep it there. Last push, moving towards 10 seconds. Probably 4 to 5 more repetitions. And in 3, 2, and 1. And rest. Whew. Exhale, good. And we are doing good work, everyone. Fantastic effort this morning. Another fantastic Wednesday Westside Wellbeing workout, utilising the training format of Tabata. We've covered the whole body. I hope you're feeling a little bit stress-free. Go out, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. We'll see you very soon.